Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing, because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, um, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. Hey, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. These eclipses are going to change you from the inside and out. They are happening in your first and in your seventh house. The first eclipse is on the 7th in a couple of days, so I'm glad to get this to you in time. I have had a very busy month. So this first eclipse was happening in your first house on the 7th at 1522 degrees of Pisces, and you'll feel it more depending on if your sun, your moon, or your rising sign is within 5 degrees of 15 degrees. So like from 10 degrees to 20 degrees of Pisces, you're going to feel this. So, like I said, these are going to be big shifts, big internal shifts occurring for you, because full moon lunar eclipses are associated with closures and endings. So this is an ending of an 18-year cycle for you. It's like a major turning point. It's going to be some heightened emotional intensities here as you release an old aspect of yourself that just isn't working for you anymore. You're feeling a call to you've outgrown and shedding an outdated version of yourself. So, and this, because you also do have Saturn in your first house in retrograde, which I'll talk about more about the second eclipse. But, this first eclipse in your first house is going to mark a big sort of karmic ending, karmic lesson learned, a big lesson learned. This is a big eclipse for you. It is a very positive eclipse, though, as I said earlier in the video, in the introduction, that it's blessed by your ruling planet in its exaltation. So expect some beautiful transformative experiences. So sort of an old part of you that isn't working for you, you become victory over. You've discovered a new, truer version of yourself. It's basically it's not as much. You're going to have a cosmic reset. You're becoming a new person. Yeah, the first house is your identity, your body, and your energy. You're definitely going to feel a hard time sleeping, anxious. You've got that south node in your seventh house, which I'll go more into in the second eclipse here in a minute. But there is definitely anxious energy happening as you're a more off as you're stopping trying to change yourself to meet other people's needs and or to make them happy. And this eclipse is about making you happy, discovering what is your true soul essence, and what is it that you're here to do in your dharma, and what it because you're starting an 18-year new cycle here as well as a 29-year cycle with Saturn there, which I'll go more into in a minute. But you're finding who you truly are and the life you want to build and the person you truly want to allow yourself to be, or to sort of show a new version of yourself that is a version of yourself that is more authentic and real. And you're going to have to sort of let go of people in your seventh house that don't subscribe, or you can't reshape yourself to fit other people anymore. That's what's going to happen. So there's a good chance relationships and partnerships, other they don't have to be just romantic relationships, sort of drop away and don't like the true version of you, and that they're only there because they liked you work doing all the work and trying to impress them. But now what you've got what that does is it opens up your path for a true relationship that sees the true version of you. And that is the relationship that will stay with you, because that's what you're doing here. You're learning the difference between, in these eclipses, togetherness and independence. You're discovering that you can be more independent. You're not afraid of your independence anymore. So now you can be very selective about your relationships. So your health, be careful for your health. If there's stresses and emotional issues showing up right now, your health is definitely going to get impacted. I shouldn't say the word definitely all the time. I'm trying to streamline my words here. But you're going to perhaps feel a health issue. My son is rising sign Cancer. This eclipse is on his ascendant right now. He just texted me that he is not feeling very well. My other friend, who is a Pisces rising, just texted me. She's not feeling very well. So the eclipse is going to slow you down, put you in bed for a while if it has to, so that you reflect, because also Saturn is in retrograde in your first house, causing you to wanting you to reflect deeply on your part in connections and relationships that cause repeat cycles and patterns, where perhaps you're not liked by your person, or you can get a personal reading to go deeper in on this, but there's some sort of repeat pattern you're reflecting on inside in this period that Saturn is slowing you down to really learn from, because you're going to start these new beginnings from a place of cleared karma, and sort of knowing what adjustments you need to make within yourself in order to have more success in your relationships. So, so that you can also change, because Saturn retrograde is changing you on the inside here. And as that change, you're becoming a different person on the inside with that Saturn there. And as you change that person, you're going to start seeing different outward experiences. It's going to change your external world, your life. You see, you're really cleansing and purifying your soul, so that you are the more authentic, pure version that most Pisces are, you know. So yeah, you're having a spiritual cleanse. You're becoming, and you're shedding old masks, and you're finding the essence of who you are beneath all the noise caused by your relationships, and trying to sort of overemphasize togetherness rather than independence, or focusing more on working very hard on your relationships. When you have Virgo over your seventh, you tend to work probably a little harder than you need to for your relationship. So you're pulling back in, finding your center self, and then finding the connections and the relationships that align with that. And that leads me to also just quickly saying here about that Saturn retrograde, it is helping you know what new cycle and new life you do want to build, what will make you happy. You're trying to find clarity on what you want and what will make you happy. And that's connecting to your true soul essence that feeds you, fills your soul, gives you meaning to your life. Pisces want to feel soulfully on their dharma. So you're ruled by Jupiter. It's a very blessed new moon, so there could be a full moon, so there could also be some really fabulous new beginnings as this new version of you. You're coming out with a big fresh start, a new version of you, karma cleared, ready to step into the world of service with your divine counterpart or your true person, however you want to call it. And you're going to be evolving as you master togetherness versus independence. You're going to evolve into a really well balanced, soul aligned relationship that supports you and helps you manifest the abundance you're here to manifest. So now let's go with that second eclipse in your seventh house, which leads me to that, which there's a good chance that there's anybody that's fake and false in your life. It shows up and it's very disappointing and can be quite painful. And these are connections and relationships that probably you need to shed in order to become the more authentic version of you, which is that first eclipse. So these new eclipses, and that brings a big breakthrough. Now this is a new moon, a solar eclipse. So these are new beginnings, opportunities, big chances for personal growth. Um, like I said, it's a fresh start. You're going to get your act together. This is a success coming in for you with that first eclipse. There's probably some success showing up there, these big, because this is a big new cycle. So there's some opportunity showing up, a new version of yourself that you're going to start um, becoming. And it's a higher up as our lives are going up like this all the time on the cycle. So this is going to call for more getting your act together, pulling your shit together as you become more successful here on these eclipses, as you're shifting into a more higher vibrational being, less karma in your frequency field, you're vibrating up higher, getting these new opportunities that are sort of resonating at this new fresh version of you, which is more optimistic. Jupiter there in Cancer exaltation, giving you quite a bit of faith in yourself. So, yeah, so you're organizing and you're decluttering your life here with this eclipse of noisy friends or people or associates or partnership agreements that are not, like I said, supportive. And you're kind of releasing baggage and issues connected to some of these, releasing the need to be perfect in your relationships, control them, and sort of wanting to be more you and sort of an attitude of take me or leave me as I am, basically. So, yeah, like I say, there's truths coming out. There can be disappointments. But this is shedding you of connections that are not, as I said, good for you. And anything that goes away, let it go away. Any relationship that comes crashing down, let it go. And this allows you space for your new aligned, joint soul contracted people that are important for this new cycle. So we're clearing that space for these more positive people that are really going to help you because in Virgo seventh house, they're going to be of high service to you because you're flipping your energy to more interdependence. So you're going to sort of attract these supportive partners. That's the shift when you clear this karma, where you're doing all the energy at them. You're going to hold, you're the oracle being a Pisces. You're going to hold your vision, your creative spark, your brilliance, and that's going to attract universal support towards you. So you're not going to start attracting your true support from an internal place rather than trying to manipulate and control it on the external to bring it to you. Like I say, you're shifting on the inside. That is the karma release that you're doing, trying to control your relationships somewhere in there. So yeah, partnerships are under the cosmic scanner in this eclipse, and and Mercury's in on this eclipse in Virgo here, so that's going to put some intense conversations. Perhaps they are argumentative, perhaps they're stressful, perhaps there's upset here in your relationship. You have to work through something. If you're in your right relationship, this could get intense and challenging and upsetting and feel like almost a breakup. But I think for sure, if you're in the right relationship, you make it through and it purges some impurities in the connection. That's what this eclipse is trying to do, is purge your impurities in your connections with them and you. You're detoxifying your relationships. So, yeah, so you may feel less present to your relationship. You're probably becoming very centered in you and dropping your relationship energetically. And I don't mean necessarily ending it, but again, if it's the wrong relationship, it will probably end, but you're focusing on balancing back more into you. Because Pisces tend to enmesh in their relationship. Water signs enmesh in relationships. They tend, the water, like the boundaries, they go, so they sort of pull their water back to you. Um, and yeah, you're going to reevaluate which connections truly mean something to you and which are real. It's going to reveal which ones are real and which ones are not. And Painful sometimes when you discover some are not. But we don't have to bring everybody with us in this new cycle, you know. We're being minimalists here with this South Node Virgo. So, this is a time to listen less to the demands of others, to create space in your connections, in your relationships, so that you can hear yourself, your own soul. And if something ends right now, let it, because it is creating space for more conscious relationships, for lovers that respect your soul, not just your image. So that is the connections now we're aligning with that are going to last, that are your true divine partners. This is a year of ending karma, for especially for Pisces with Cancer, Saturn there. You're wrapping up a big 29-year karmic cycle here. So you're changing something major about yourself internally, which then aligns you with your true divine partner, and to initiate a beautiful new 29-year cycle, blessed by Jupiter in exaltation, bringing you abundance and happiness and a life that truly nourishes your soul. All right, Pisces, if you would like a personal reading, feel free to book at soullevels.com. There is a booking link on my website. And if you would like to be on my mailing list where I email a monthly astro report, feel free to email me at madeleineparker111@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and have a wonderful month. Namaste.